the world if you just start to think like this? I would like to illustrate it by showing why I live in Singapore. People are usually very confused. Fredrik, you like books on creativity. You can live anywhere in the world. Why on earth do you live in Singapore? Of all the places you could live. This is the story I tell them. When I came to Singapore 4 years ago, this movie, a Chinese movie, Red Cliff, just started to show in the cinemas of Singapore. Same weekend, an American movie called Batman also started to show in the cinemas of Singapore. That means that a Singaporean 20-year-old on Friday night watches Batman and on Saturday night watches Red Cliff. As if this was the most natural thing in the world. Now here's the thing. This is not the most natural thing in the world. It is for Singaporeans, but it's not for everyone else. I actually went to a university in Singapore and I asked 100 Singaporean 20-year-olds, how many of you have seen the movie Batman? 80% said yes. How many of you have seen the movie Red Cliff? 80% said yes. Then I went back to Sweden, my lovely home country of Sweden. How many of you have seen the movie Batman? I asked 100 Swedish students. 80% said yes. How many of you have seen the movie Red Cliff? Out of 100 students, how many? No, not none. One. He was a Chinese exchange student. So what's the point here? The point, of course, is that 20 years from now, these 20-year-olds are going to be 40 years old. Now a global movie company is going to go to those very respected directors and say, okay, you're really good. We want you to make a global blockbuster movie. Now, who has the potential to make the best global blockbuster movie? Someone who can take the best of the American movies and the best of the Chinese movies and combine the two into a really good movie. And more importantly, someone who knows what kind of movies do they like in the West and what kind of movies do they like in the East. Who would you put your money on? And here's the thing. When I was 20-year-old, this didn't matter. Because when I was 20-year-old, all the big markets for our products was in America and Europe. So I didn't need to know anything about you. But if you're 20 years today and you want to make global movies 10 years from now, you need to know both parts. You know about the American movie, the Hollywood production movie called Battleship? It's showing in Pakistan, right? It's showing in Singapore, it's showing in Pakistan. It is not showing in America. Actually, I think it premiered yesterday in America. Here's a Hollywood production that is shown earlier in Pakistan than in Hollywood. Why? Because now global movies are global. The market is global and they make more money here than there. So if you're going to make a global movie, you need to know what kind of movies they like here. And here's my final message to you. They don't. And what you don't understand is how little we know about you. You know about us, we don't know about you. We don't know shit about you, okay? We're ignorant. And you don't understand how ignorant we are. Let me ask you a question. Do you know the name of the President of America? It's a joke. Of course you do. Do you know who Tiger Woods is? Of course you do. Do you know that Tiger Woods cheated on his Swedish wife? How can you know that? Well, that's not relevant for you. How can you know such a minute detail of my culture? Because you know about my world and you know about your world. If I go to Europe or America and I ask 100 business leaders in an advertising conference in Sweden, do you know the name of the leader of China? Or do you know the name of the leader of India? Take a guess. How many percent can do that? Take a guess. Seriously, how many percent? Huh? Oh, Mickey? 40%. 10. 5. See, this is your problem. You underestimate our ignorance. 40%, it's not 40%, it's not 20%, it's not 10%, it is not 5%. I have asked this question to 100,000 business people in Europe and America. It is 0.1%. And you go, no, yes. I just came back from the West. I asked this question. I say, how can you know Mao? How can you know Mao? And how can you know Gandhi? And how can you know the leaders of India and China? 30 years ago, when the market didn't matter, but now when they are the largest market for your products, now you don't know. How can you know less about the world now than you did before you got the internet? It doesn't make sense. A woman got so upset, she said, oh, it's easy. The reason we don't know is because now the names are so long and difficult to remember. Let's see, what's the name of the leader of China? Hu. What's the name of the leader of India? Singh. What's the name of the leader of America? Barack Obama. That's the tricky one. Now, they don't know the names of the leader of India and China, and obviously they don't know the name of the leader of Pakistan. They don't know the leader of a single country in Asia. But not only that, they cannot, you can say that Tiger Woods cheated on his Swedish wife. They cannot say a single Asian sports star. They cannot say a single person who cheated on someone in Asia. They cannot say anything. If I ask them, say the name of 10 people from Asia who are going to change the world, they go, Nelson Mandela? This is your advantage. And I would argue that nowhere is this, perhaps except Singapore, but nowhere is this a bigger advantage than here. Because in Pakistan, you know about the Muslim culture. You know about the Asian culture. You know about the Western culture, regardless if you want to or not. That means that you know about the 3 largest cultures in the world, and you all take them for granted. You speak 3 or 4 languages as a natural thing in this country. These are 3 of the 5 largest cultures in the world. It's only Sub-Sahara Africa and South America that you don't know about without having to research it. But more importantly,